Hey Middle-earth role-playing fans, Roman Dacelab here, back with another video, but first we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to give a shout out to two guys that I talk to a lot. First up we got Lenny Blade. He has a channel called Dungeons and Thrashers. He also has quite a bit of Lord of the Rings Middle-earth material. He did a bunch of segments on Adventures in Middle-earth. I don't have that one. I've downloaded it and I'm starting to read it, but it's not the same as actually having a physical copy in your hand. And they don't make this game anymore, so at 140 something bucks, it's going to be hard to find. Lenny Blady's me and him have got a lot in common. He teaches English in Thailand. I used to teach English in South Korea. Love Middle-earth, love role-playing. He likes games like Risk. I played Risk as a kid and then Axis and Allies. But he finds all this stuff in Thailand, which is like somewhere you wouldn't think of to find something. But he finds it, and it's pretty cool, his reviews. I definitely enjoy them. I haven't gone through all his videos yet, and some I've watched more than once from the looks of it. But yeah, check him out. And the next one is Your Seat at the Table. Me and him, we do a lot of the same kind of reviews. He has a lot of Middle-earth stuff, as you can see. But he also does Dune. I think that's Dune. House Davion, House Korea. It looks like Dune. And he does Battletech and Star Wars. So he does more role-playing. I'm just strictly Middle-earth for now. I do have a couple of other things I can do. But I have so much Middle-earth role-playing. I have the whole set of the MERP that another year to get through it all. Me and him have some of the same viewpoints on what's good and what's bad about these campaign modules. So I definitely recommend checking out him too. So I'm going to put a link in the description below. And suggest that all my viewers and anyone just new to the channel, just check those guys out too. And now back to our featured presentation.
I'll see you in the land of Mordor. Death awaits you at the border. Pass on through the gates and destroy the ring of power and wonder.
We're going into more of the compendiums or guidebooks. This is 8002 of the series, Lord of the Rings, the Immortal Elves, Maiar and Valar. And it's just a compendium of all the characters in the Tolkien universe, as well as some that Iron Crown put in. Now, normally you would not use these in a campaign system. You might use Gandalf and Saruman, the Balrog, and some of the elves. But for the most part, a lot of these are first age. Or in the case of the Valar, you're not even going to use them. But the potential is there. So this was made in 1986. Again, the introduction, the guidelines, converting stats. It does give an overview of the Valar. Now, really, you have to read the Silmarillion to really understand what the Valar and the Maiar are. In a nutshell, the Valar are greater angels. There is only one god, Eru, he's called, or Iluvatar, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He is the one. He's usually referred in the masculine sense, though in this age of wokeness, let's use binary terms. Or he, she, or whatever you want. So the Valar are basically greater angels, or greater Anyar. And it has the history. There are only so many of them. 7 of them take the form of a man, 7 of them take the form of a woman. And one of the greatest of them is Melkor, who later becomes Morgoth, who is the evil incarnate. So he would be the devil in this realm, in this world. And it talks about the history of the Valar and the Morgoth fighting for dominion of Middle-earth, because they are sent to Middle-earth when there's nothing there. They build things up. Melkor destroys them, and it goes on and on like that. So with the Valar, they're also called Maiar, and the Maiar are lesser angels. Gandalf and Saruman and Radagast are lesser angels. Sauron is a lesser angel. But all these Maiar are also, they're spirits, and they're affiliated with one of the greater angels. So Saruman was more in tune to Aul, who is the creator of the dwarves, and he's a greater angel. So Saruman and Sauron were once pupils of Aul. The Balrog is a fire spirit. He's more akin to Melkor or Morgoth. So it does this interesting history thing. And it talks about the birth of the elves and the migration of the elves. all the way up to the Wizard's Embassy. Talks about their nature as beings, their society, the individual Maiar and Valar, and their relationships, religion, and the general powers of a Valar characters. So now you're going to in the glossary. So the Valar characters, Aul, he's a smith. It's kind of like almost like Greek mythology. Est, she's a healer, mistress of fountains, of renewal. Ermo, he's a dream master. Manwë is the equivalent of Melkor in terms of power. He's the Lord of the Sky. Melkor eventually, or Morgoth as he's more commonly known, he eventually uses his power differently and has to put his power into his servants, into what he corrupts, and thus weakens himself. Then you have Morgoth, Melkor / Morgoth, he who arises in might. Namo, who's the keeper of the dead, or is also called Mandos. So Namo, who's also called Mandos, he's the keeper of the dead. And when he's talking about keeper of the dead, he's talking about elves. Men do not stay in the halls of Mandos. Yeah, Nessa, mistress of celebration. Nina, the weeper or the sufferer. Orom, who's the huntsman. Tolkas, who's the strong, the champion of the Valar. Ulmo, who's the master of the seas. Veri, mistress of time. Vanna, the ever young mistress of flowers. Varda, who's Albereth is the Star Queen. And then Yavanna, who's the keeper of the Queen of the Earth, keeper of the plants. So they all have different powers and different roles. The Maiar are the same except for in lesser forms. Tom Bombadil is a Maiar. Goldenberry is a Maiar. She's the river's daughter. They have different nature. They're all immortal. And they all are in subgroups. So like I said, Saruman was part of Aul, was his patron. Gandalf was Manwë. Alatar, the light blue wizard, he was Rome. Palando, the other dark blue wizard, was Mandos. And Radagast was more in tune with Yavanna, and so forth. So then it gives a list of all the individual Maiar. The Balrog of Moria, like I said, he's a Maiar, a lesser fire spirit. And he becomes known as Durin's Bane. Tom Bombadil, Saruman, and Eonwë, who's the herald bearer. Goldenberry, Gothmog, who's another Balrog, but it's the chief of the Balrogs. It's hard to say how many Balrogs there actually were. In some cases I've seen the number as low as 7, others 13, but it could be as many as 1,000 at one time or another. So there's really a discrepancy of how many Balrogs there actually are. I'm not going to list all the Maiar because Luthien is even in there. She was a half Maiar because her mother Melian married Thingol, one of the elves. Sauron's listed in there. Then they go into the Ishtari, or the wizards. So there are 5. There's blue, so they will call one the light blue, the other the dark blue. And they all have different missions. There's Alatar, Gandalf, Palando, Radagast, and Saruman. And it gives you a table of what they're like. So they're basically they're high level, all of them are high level guys. And they gain experience as they wander through Middle-earth from 1,000 to 3,019 of the Third Age. So really, you're not going to meet many Maiar in Middle-earth itself. Because most of the adventures are set in the Third Age. Only Lorien has second age stats and adventures. So you're going to run across Gandalf, Radagast, and Saruman. The 2 blue wizards, not likely, because ice never got that far east. They only went south. And there's really no southern wizard. The Balrog's up north, Sauron's up north in the Third Age. So you're not going to find any Valar in the Third Age. So then it talks about the elves, the awakening, their migrations, how they split up in their migrations. It's like humans. Humans split up from one group. And then it gives a glossary of elven characters. So these are the main ones. These are the ones that are mentioned in Tolkien's works. Most entries are based directly on the characters created by Tolkien. Anything marked with an asterisk indicates characters developed by I.C.E. So nothing Tolkien about them. So you really have to read the Silmarillion to know who most of these elves are, of these major elves. But some of them, like Ardena and Arduval, come from the Court of Ardor campaign book. Then we got Arwen. She's in there. It does mention Beruthiel, who was the wife of King Tarandor, and had all these cats, crazy cat lady. Bledorthan, who's only mentioned in The Hobbit as ordering spears but never paying for them or something like that. Cambragle is Court of Ardor. Camring is also Court of Ardor. So you have Fëanor, the sons of Fëanor, Fingolfin and all his kids, Finarfin and his kids, Celeborn, or Celebrimbor. I always get that C mixed up. I don't know if it's a soft C or a hard C half the time. Círdan, the shipwright, the only elf with a beard. And it keeps going on and on. Some, like Arendelle, who's half human, are also mentioned. Now the cool thing about these is they have, what I use, especially for the Third Age elves, is their stats. Some have better stats than others. And it just keeps going on. This is all alphabetical. So you get an idea of who these are. They have their whole backstories. You got Gil-galad, Luthien, she's mentioned again, Maedhros, Nimrodel, who's famous for Lorien, Thranduil. So Legolas is here. I missed him already. Now it also gives a reference. So if you read the Unfinished Tales, these pages, Silmarillion, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, etc., and you can find Ice, Northern Mirkwood, page 43. This one, Voglin, he's in Court of Ardor. So it does give you reference points. And then it gives you another table of all their stats, what weapons they use. Then it goes in the Elven short description glossary. So these are the lesser characters. This guy Carnel is from Lorien, Ariel Lorien. So a lot of these are made up because they have the little asterisks there. Then they have their big stat tables. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the lesser ones. They're not important. And there's not that many of them. Then you got the great enemies of Morgoth, like Morgoth. He's a level 500. So good luck fighting him with a level 5 guy. So you're never really going to meet Morgoth, because there are no first age adventures. You could create one. Use like the Gundabad scenario, or the Mines of Moria, or Dol Guldur. And it gives their weapons and what they have. Special powers. Breeding. Then we go into Sauron's tail. And Sauron has a longer tail because of what he is. Ungoliant the spider, she's also a Maiar. A lesser angel, or a lesser demon at this point. A fallen angel. Queen of the Void. Spirit of the Void. So, and then it gives you an idea how to use high-level characters. Balancing their use. Generating high-level characters. Equipment and magical balances. Skills and bonuses. So you can make one if you wanted to. Then it has some skills like climbing, swimming, riding, diving. The character skills table is down there for the ones you're going to meet. So it does give a character skills table for all these. I use this table mostly for military campaigns, like for Elrond. I'll look up his strategy and tactics. Or Legolas' strategy and tactics and Thranduil, whenever they command armies, if they're the commander. Who is the best negotiator, all that kind of stuff. So those are special rules. So overall, you're not going to use this book a lot. It just makes for a really good read. It does. I thought it was reading wise. It was great. I loved reading all the little entries, and sometimes I go back and see if they're really where they are listed. Did I ever really use this in gameplay? No, because I have all the campaign modules, so I just use that. And I can find stuff out. But it is a good compendium, and I wish but it's 86, so anything made after that, it's not going to be listed. So any campaign book that has a new character is not going to be listed in this book. That's the only drawback. They did do one for the 3rd edition, and I'll cover that later. But anyway, that's it for Volume 1, The Immortals. And anyone else who ever bought this book, tell me what you guys thought. Did anyone have any use for it? Leave comments in the comment section below. If you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the bell for notifications. Till next time, this is Roman Daysel. I'm out of here.
Shadows increase see.